Hey guys, welcome to a walkthrough of my latest track, The Quiet Earth. Now, this will end up as a B-side on the vinyl single that I'm creating. The A-side will be the collaboration that I'm doing with Tara Bush and I Speak Machine called The Silent Earth. So the B-side is The Quiet Earth. This one is sort of based on the same type of theme, but it's an all-instrumental track. Now, I want to give you guys a walkthrough of the instruments that I've been using and some tips and tricks on the way. So, let's have a look. So I wanted to start off showing the Modular, right? The Modular has some pretty interesting stuff going on. It's taking care of all the, percussive elements. Well, not the kick and the snare that's coming from the TR-8S. We'll look at that one later. It has some pretty nice percussion. I'm using a white noise source from the random tools, noise tools from IntelliGel. I have the Plonk from IntelliGel, and I also have the Basilemus Iteritas Alter. So the white noise is pretty straightforward. I'm just feeding the white noise through the micro VCF filter from IntelliGel through the mat as an envelope right then that controls the VCA that handles the noise. So it sounds like this. The Steppy is the one sending the triggers, and I also have some modulation using PAMs added on top to modulate the filter a little bit. So as you can hear, this is a high pass filter. Alright, then I have a second drum sound from the Plonk. It's a little bit more like a tom or a timpani style drum. This one is being sequenced by the Eloquencer. I have a random pattern. It's basically just shooting through some of the gates, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4 gates. It's just alternating between those 4. And I'm also sending a pitch. So it gives it like this timpani sort of, sounds like multiple drums that it's been hitting. And also at the same time I'm doing a little bit of modulation on the decay. This one, right, to give it a little bit longer hits from time to time. I also have the Basilemus Iteritas Alter. So this one I'm sending 2 triggers, one that is the main trigger and then the secondary, then I'm just exciting another input, and also have some modulation going on at the same time from PAMs to give it a little bit of a movement. And here are the 3 sounds at the same time. And also in the Modular I have 3 more sounds. I have the braids that is being fed through the micro clouds from Tall Dogs. It's basically the same as the clouds, but it's just an 8 HP, very, very versatile. And then that is being fed through the caverns. I'm just going to turn this off so you can hear what the actual sound sounds like by itself. So this is the vanilla sound. Very simple random sequence. I'm adding clouds, some pitch modulation. Then adding some delay. Then finally some shimmer reverb. Sounds pretty big, huh? So let's turn these off because I'm using the same reverb on the rings. Rings sounds like this. both these two together. Very dreamy. So obviously these sounds are not in the forefront of the mix, just because, you know, I wanted them to stay in the background to help add some extra glimmer. Now I have a third sound. This is a piano roll, not piano roll, but a piano I recorded on my Korg Grand stage, I think, and I'm just chopping this up through the Morphogene, and it sounds like this. Let me just turn the modulation off first. Then I'm modulating, I think it is the end point, right? Yes. So turning this on. Then adding some delay and reverb. Gives this really cool shimmer that I'm using at the end of the track to give it, you know, sort of a fade out type of feeling, right? I'm using the planner too to modulate some of these settings, right? So let me turn the piano roll back on here, and you know, you guys can hear a little bit what it sounds like with some additional modulation. Rings, long, BIA, all right. By itself, obviously that sounds a little bit, you know, messy and weird, but you know, putting it into context, it actually becomes pretty interesting. Okay, so let's move on to the MS-20 and Monologue. Okay, so the MS-20, I have my standard vanilla sound that I always use. I have two sawtooth, one set to 16, the other one set to 8. I'm just using the low pass filter with resonance set to 3. I have a little bit of frequency modulation going on here to give it a little bit of a vibrato kind of pitch modulation type of thing. And then, you know, standard LFO is really simple set, no attack, no release, full sustain and decay, just to give it that legato type of style that I enjoy playing with, okay? And adding with the El Capistan from Strymon, it's not in the picture here, it's just on the side. I have quite a significant, you know, length tape style delay on this to give it that dreamy type of modulated feel. So this is what it sounds like without the delay. Then we have the Strymon. And some of you might have heard that I also have a reverb on the MS-20. This is a simple plate reverb from the Presonus mixer, just to add that little extra shimmer that I want to have on the sound. At the same time, I have the Korg Monologue. I'm basically playing harmonies together on these two. And this is a much simpler sound. This is also two sawtooth. A little bit more laid back with a little bit more resonance on the top to give it that nose, and playing these two together. Okay, the monologue also has a little bit of delay and the same reverb as the MS-20 from the Presonus mixer. It's not in picture here, just to add that extra, you know, feeling and width to the sounds. Okay, when it comes to percussion, the main kick and snare, and also some rim shots and hi-hats, open and close, and also cymbal, is being programmed in the TR-8S. Now, this song is a little bit tricky since it doesn't roll over completely. It doesn't have like an 8-bar loop. I'm just doing a 6-bar loop. So I have 6 different patterns using the variation here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, and E are the same, and then I have a little fill on F. This is just to give small, like an end, like a double hit snare at the end, and also a hi-hat and the cymbal. Sounds like this. Also adding some of the modular stuff. Okay, so this TR-8S together with the modular drums really gives some extra, you know, groove and feel to it. I also have a little, you know, snare cut up and hit in the digitact as well. It's very, very minor. Sounds like this. Give that extra, you know, groove, and this snare is being, you know, panned as well with an LFO, so it like flies in between the left and right speaker. Now, one of the major, you know, problems or weirdness, or how do you want to call it, one of the things with this track is that it doesn't go the full 8 bars, it just does 6. And the electrons, they don't have song modes, right? So that creates a little bit of a problem when you want to program something that's longer than 64 steps, right? Because this is essentially 64 plus, you know, an additional 32, right? So the way that I'm doing this, in the Electron you have a pattern chaining mode. Very simple, just press the pattern button, right? And hold the patterns that you wanted to loop it, and just let it go, right? And it says playing chain, and then it will just loop the entire track in its entirety. So what I've done here is that I recorded the bass lines on tracks or patterns 9, 10, and 11 with, you know, the C, the A sharp and G notes, right? And on number 12 I have just the C, right? That's where the track ends. So I'm just swapping the actual pattern at the end of the track. Now, the bass as well is being programmed in the Digitone. So I have it running via MIDI. I'm controlling the Volca bass, and the Volca bass has a little bit of an, you know, overdrive and overdriven type of feeling, right, into the Digitone to give it that really gnarly type of sound. And combining in the Electron Digitone, I also had 2 sounds. I had like a pad sound that I programmed as well, together with sort of a glimmery type of arpeggio type of sound as well on top. So let's have a listen here and see what it sounds like if we just play those. Then I have on the right hand side the Avalon bassline. This is doing the main hook that you can hear throughout the entire song. And this is also somewhat similar to the melody that I'm using in the A side, which I'll show you guys later, at a later time. And just have a listen at the melody. It sounds like this. The Avalon is being fed through the analog 4. It has some delay and some reverb on top, just ping-ponging in between the speakers for that extra width. Okay, so I also have one melody that I'm playing is on the Korg Volca keys. The Korg Volca keys has the Zoom MS70 FX pedal, it's just below here. I have the filter PP delay algorithm together with particle delay to give that shimmery type of feel. And also the Volca keys together with the Volca bass are both fed through the Electron Digitone, adding just a little bit of effects, right? And then they're being fed through the TR8S, which is giving them that, you know, pumping sidechain type of, you know, effect that it has built on the external inputs. This helps, you know, specifically when it comes to the bass, to duck that away so it doesn't, you know, take over the mix. It's really, really good in a sense that you don't have to actually, you know, high pass the bass that hard. Just gives you that really nice pumping feeling, and, you know, it grows in between the notes, obviously. So it's really cool, really cool. Now, the last sound that I'm using is in the Analog 4. This is a stereo, quite heavily modulated bass type of sound that, you know, flies in between the speakers, and it sounds like this. Okay, that's it. So what you need to do is just puzzle the little building blocks together, and hopefully we have a song. Right, let's see what it sounds like.